What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Panthers Advice. I mean, what do you want me to say about today, right? They got the onside kick, and then all of a sudden they go empty, right? All of a sudden they basically go empty across the board, which is funny because when they were down by 23, with like 5 minutes left in the third, it was conservative, right? Just get the ball down the field, move the ball down the field. They have the ball in the 50, and all of a sudden we want to go empty. All of a sudden we're going to go empty. It doesn't make any sense what the Carolina Panthers are doing across the board. Because Canales, as the head coach, I'm confused. Okay, because to me, he has to either become the head coach or the play caller. He can't be both, right? And let me talk about what else was on my mind today. This whole game from beginning to end with Bryce Young, right, with the two mistakes. Now, yes, he played better as the game went on, but that's the thing with Bryce Young, right? That's his kryptonite. That's his weakness. Tries to keep making a play even though the play is over. You got to realize your offensive line struggled against the Jaguars, and we're going to touch on that this week. How did the offensive line get fixed last year, right? And then all of a sudden, it's back to being horrendous, right? The Cardinals' defensive line, I don't think changed much other than Calais Campbell, who I don't think was on the team last year. He's on the team now. It hasn't changed much. And somehow the offensive line is worse. And they're sitting there talking about, oh, the Cardinals, they're not getting any pressure anymore, right? Depending on what broadcast you were listening to. Cardinals can't get any pressure. No, it's because they were up by 20. So why would they keep showing different looks? You know, what would be the point, right? It's only week 2 of the NFL season. It's only week 2, and the Panthers are getting demolished by exotic looks within the first 2 drives. Yes, Bryce Young has to stop making mistakes. Stop trying to play hero ball every single play, especially in the first half, let alone the first 2 drives. Know when the play is over. And that's the problem sometimes when you get a dual threat quarterback, is because when the play breaks down, you want them to use their feet. And sometimes this is going to be the end result. But that's not even where it ends, right? Because Nick Scott on that cover 1, I'm a little frustrated. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little frustrated. I have notes. But Nick's got on the cover 1. All right, it's a little frustrating too because while, yes, he's at fault, when you do a cover 1, right, and you blitz the house like they did, you expect to get pressure. No pressure. On top of that, I don't know how much rotation was done by the Panthers in the defensive line, the linebackers, etc. But as I'm sitting there watching them third and fourth quarter, that D-line looks burnt out. Right, it looks burnt out, and there's 2 reasons for that. One, because they just kept blitzing 4 and they were getting pretty much demolished by the Cardinals offensive line. And 2, the Panthers couldn't keep the ball, right? It was 3 and out, or it was just turnover and turnover. The Panthers as a whole, they have to make changes. So if Tepper wants to step in at any point and let somebody go, I'm not going to fight it because this is ridiculous, right? Let me take a look at my notes real quick because obviously, man, I'm a little frustrated. I'm a little frustrated, and usually I'm a go-lucky kind of guy, you know, Mr. Positive. But today, man, today was frustrating. All right, so first things I kind of saw was one, Hunter Renfrow once again in a jump ball situation. I didn't love that. Second half, they used him a little bit better, right? More of kind of a route concept, whip routes. They used him better in the second half for the most part. Merrick struggled at the beginning. I thought he played better, but again, how much of it was him potentially playing better versus the Cardinals kind of going conservative? Princely did his thing. Nick Scorton, he kind of got a free blitz at the quarterback, and he came in a little bit too hot. He's got a contain right there. So it was nice to see Scorton. It was nice to see Princely, the future of the Panthers, actually make some plays. And then offensive line, man. Well, I'm confused how you went from one of the best offensive lines, I would say, probably top 5, top 7, right, in the NFL to what we have. And even Corbett said it, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it was, maybe it was Monday, in their conferences, saying they gave us some looks we weren't ready for. And so when he says that, what do you think the Cardinals coaching staff did? They're like, oh, they couldn't handle the Jags? Okay, we got something for them. And the difference is, I'm pretty sure Jags are running a nickel, right? Cardinals like, oh, we're going to run a dime package, right? So we're going to play the pass even more and going to send you looks that you're not going to be ready for. And you could see from the gate, the Panthers weren't ready for the looks. And the whole time the broadcast going, oh, you know, the Cardinals aren't getting any pressure. It's because they're like, okay, no reason to keep showing our looks. Like I said before, it's only week 2. It's only week 2, and the Panthers can't stop the Jags or the Cardinals. Now, the Jags look to be somewhat legit to a point, but this is ridiculous. This is literally ridiculous. Let's see. What other notes did I take? Because, man. Ooh, Leggett. Good old Leggett. I'm mixed here because I'm an optimistic kind of guy. But it's like the Panthers are just trying to force it to him, man. The Panthers need Coker back. Bad. Because they're trying to force to get the ball, and that's not the answer. I don't know if he's going to be a Panther long term. I really don't. It's not working. No matter what they try and do, it's not working the first 2 weeks. And I don't know what else you can do. They tried the short, they tried the medium, they tried the screen. And not all of it's on him, but they tried the deep pass too. It's not working in Carolina. It's not working. You saw what a true first round receiver can do, like Tedero McMillan. Leggett, it's not working. It might be time to move on. Because if you keep having to try and force him the ball, you're halting your offense. That's what you're doing. You're halting the offense. You've got playmakers. Sanders, he came alive. Renfro, he came alive. Bryson did decent. Okay. Tedero did his thing. No Jimmy Horn once again. I'm a little bit shocked by that. Let me know in the comments if I'm not aware of something happening. But I think the injury report was only Tershawn Wharton. So somebody help me out with the Jimmy Horn thing, because it goes back to what I said last week. You got Jimmy Horn. You got Trevor Etienne. Neither one of them are really starting on offense. Now, Etienne, he had a couple good kick returns, but we used our 4th round pick. We used our 4th round pick for a returner. We had the worst rushing defense last year, and we used our 4th round pick for a kick returner and a punt returner, which we need to talk about as well. Then we used our 6th round pick for like, it doesn't make sense. These coaches have a 2 to 3, maybe a 4-year contract, and you're drafting guys in the 4th to 6th round that you're not even playing. We can't get mad at Aviro not playing Princely and Nick. And it's a little bit different because they are 2nd, 3rd round, but 4th rounder, there was still some decent talent left there, and that's what you decide to do. You know, what else I take away from today's game, man? I don't know last time I was this frustrated. Carolina Panthers need to clean house. Yeah, what happened to the run blocking? I mean, Chuba last year, he did a number on the Cardinals. This year, I don't know what's going on with the Panthers in the run game. I'm confused. The offensive line is still pretty much the same, right? Corbett played last year, so it's not like it's completely brand new across the board. You've got Taylor, you've got Ickey, you've got Hunt, and you've got Lewis, and you had Corbett in the middle. Chuba was non-existent, not for lack of trying, him and Rico both. I don't understand how the run game, the pass blocking, is so much worse this year compared to last year. If somebody has any answers, let me know in the comments. It does not make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense how it got this. This is almost Bryce Young's rookie year bad. It's not as bad, but man, it's close. What else do we have? Aviro has to go. Yeah. And the reason I keep going back to is it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and the DBs are playing 8 to 10 yards off. The only one who can legit truly break on a receiver is J.C. Horn right now. Truly break on the receiver, and that means either reading their routes or reading their route and reading the quarterback's eyes, and then being able to break on that thing. When you do a cover 1 look, all right, QB's like, okay, I see J.C. Horn. Let me look at the 4 other guys or the 3 other guys and say, okay, Mike J, Shaw Smith-Wade, and then who? Lathan? Right, Lathan's a rookie, but he's more of a safety. You got Nick Scott. You got Trayvon Merrick. You see where I'm going? So you can do these blitzes, but they're playing 8 yards off. It's easy money when it's all said and done. To me, Aviro has to go, and it's not close. And as we slowly wrap this thing up, right, 2 things I want to touch on as we wrap it up. Please stop running the zone read. Please stop running it. Bryce never keeps it. This has been going on for the last 3 years. Even when Frank was running this thing, Bryce never keeps it. And the last thing I want to touch on is T-Mac, Tedero McMillan, TMC. What a receiver. Force him the ball. I don't even care anymore. Just force him the ball. You see, there's a couple drives where the Panthers will go to him heavy and then they'll stop. The other thing I hate, let me slow down real quick because I need to actually make sense when I say this. The other thing I hate is, well, this, right? They'll go to him and then they'll stop for 2 drives, right? Go to him for 2 drives and then stop for 2 or 3 or 4 drives. The other thing is a 3-by-1 set and you got Tedero by himself. And the reason that bothers me is if you go back to the Cardinals right before half, right, where they got that touchdown, that cover 1 look against Nick Scott and I think Shaw Smith-Wade, Dave Canales called a timeout, and there was only like 8 seconds left on the play clock. I'm like, why did you call a timeout? Right? And it's because he was worried about who was going to pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. in that slot bunch look. Very rarely do I see Tedero line up in that kind of look. He's always on the outside by himself. Now, I get it to a point. I get what they're trying to do with the defense. They're trying to take it all to that side, that left side, then bang, go to the right side. I get it, but it's obviously not working. It's not working or it's not being consistent because some drives you go to him, some drives he doesn't even see the ball, not even close. And you're also not using him to be a mismatch too. Right? Teams are obviously going to be worried about him. You've got to use him as a decoy at some point, other than just keeping that cornerback in safety on that left side of the field, because it's not working. It's literally not working. Use him as a decoy. Get Hunter Renfrow open underneath. Stop trying to go over the top every single time with him. Put Jimmy Horn in. And man, this Adam Thielen trade is kicking everybody's butt. I'm not going to say the Panthers win with him, but I don't think Bryce Young would make the mistakes that he's made if Adam Thielen was here. Now, does that excuse Bryce Young? Absolutely not. We talked about this preseason, right before the regular season started. He's got to stop trying to play hero ball. If you want to do it in the fourth quarter, fine. Overtime, 4th down, fine. I get that. But the first drive, the second drive of the game when it's 0-0 or 7-0, you're hurting the team more than anything. It basically says you don't trust the defense. You know, because now you put the defense in a tough predicament. We're already playing off coverage by 10 yards, so let's just give them the ball at the 30 or at the 40-yard line. You see what I'm saying? The Panthers, the 2025 Panthers, it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. Because I'm going to pull the schedule real quick, but I don't have a ton of faith right now. Because I look across the board, I look at the run blocking. It's not there. Chuba, first 2 weeks, has struggled. Okay? Pass blocking, it's not great either. It's not great. Receivers, it's not bad, to be honest with you. I'm trying to pull up the schedule real quick. The receivers aren't bad, right? I still don't understand why we're not using Horn. Why are we trying to throw jump balls to Renfrow? Why we're not using McMillan as a decoy? Let me stop because I just went over that. Quarterback play, Bryce Young keeps making the same mistakes since his rookie year. And you wonder why the front office is waiting to give Bryce Young a contract, right? We'll talk about that more this week. But this is why. Because he puts the team in such a hole every time he wants to play hero ball in the first quarter, right? As I look at the schedule, you got the Falcons next, the home opener. Oh, I want to touch on that too. It's not the fact you're 0-2 going into the season home opener. It's the fact that neither one of those 2 games really gave any of the Panthers fan base any hope heading into week 3 against the Falcons. This home opener, they better mark those tickets down or it's going to look bad, right? 2025 season home opener. And I keep getting an email, $20 a month, for season tickets. You better mark that thing down. You better mark that thing down because then you go to New England the next week. Then it's the Dolphins. Dolphins are back, right? Cowboys. Then you got the Jets, the Bills. Oh boy. Packers, Saints, Falcons, Niners, Rams. Bye week. Bye week's not till week 14. Oh boy. And you got the Buccaneers. So the last 2 to 3 weeks. The Carolina Panthers right now are in trouble. They're in trouble from quarterback to offensive line, defensive line. I don't know what to say about the defensive line because it's consistently 4 guys going against 5. And none of those guys on the defensive line where I'm like, oh yeah, he should be getting in. Derek Brown to a point. I don't want to say anything about Derek Brown quite yet though. I got to watch the film and see if he's getting double teamed before I say anything about him, right? Got to look at the film for him. But when you signed Patrick Jones, you knew he wasn't a guy who had a deep bag, right? But you knew he was a high motivator, right? Then you got DJ Wanham, a guy with a little bit more of a bag, right? But not quite S-A tier. And then we look inside. You got Bobby Brown. You got Derek Brown. You had Tershawn Wharton too. And Tershawn, I think he'll make an impact when he gets back. But again, 4 against 5 every single time with no help. And when they do blitz, it's It's almost a lost cause. I don't get it. They tried to blitz Trevin a couple times. Nothing. Ever. I don't. This defense as a whole is bad. Especially when I look at Trevin Wallace, it may not be it. I hate to pick on guys what everybody else is, right? I hate to kick people when they're down. But I haven't seen anything positive from Trevin Wallace the last 2 weeks. I saw Princely today. I saw Nick today. I saw Roseboom hungry. Now, Roseboom got beat a lot too, but at least I saw something from him. With Trevin, the only time I notice him is if he's getting beat. Again, I hate to be that guy, but at some point, I got to call it everybody. You know, and Trevin Wallace is next on that list. Nick Scott is next on that list. And if you look, down the line, leader of the secondary is that free safety to a point, right? Everything else is underneath him. Linebackers, Trevin Wallace. And those two players are probably playing the worst on the team, arguably. I thought Trayvon, a step up from last week, not saying it was great, right? But a step up. Roseboom, it's inconsistent, to be honest with you, right? Good against the run for the most part. Against the pass, zone coverage, not great. So with all that being said, man, I don't know where the Panthers go from here. A move has to be made at this point. I don't care who it is, but a move has to be made. There's no way you can keep putting this team out there with the same coaches and the same players for the next, 14 weeks. A move has to be made. This is ridiculous. So Tepper, if you want to make a move, if you want to step in, now's your chance, because your home opener for 2025 is not looking great. And you better hope it doesn't rain, because if it rains or if it snows in September in Charlotte, not very likely, but if it does, it's going to be empty. It's going to be empty unless the Falcons crowd shows up. That's bad. 2025, this is not what I expected. 2024, kind of. I'm not going to lie to you. 2023 was a pretty bad year. But 2025, didn't expect this. With that being said, it's going to wrap it up. Panthers Vice is out. We will be live streaming later tonight. I'll catch you guys then. Take it easy. Peace.